Okay, I remember now. What I was getting at was that everybody knows that when you have some dro, which is also I guess called Kush, is also called I guess Kush is the type of dro. Anyway, it's more potent marijuana is what it is. Um, a, an an ounce of dro is punishable by yeah, it's punishable by up to 6 months in jail, and I'm not sure if I just said Dro or Reggie, but and Reggie is punishable by the same amount. Even though if you smoke an ounce of Dro and you smoke an ounce of Reggie, you are gonna get high as shit on the Dro. Like an ounce of Dro is that's a good amount. Anyway, and people can make the argument that an ounce of Reggie is a good amount too, but I mean, it's like I said, it's not as strong. Whereas if you have, let's say, let's see, what's an illegal drug? Oh, okay. Let's say you have Vicodin, okay, which are like heroin basically, and you get caught with those. Well, that's a Class A misdemeanor, and if you get caught with heroin, now that's a felony. So it seems to be that, and everybody knows that heroin is a lot stronger than Vicodin. So Vicodin's hydrocodone, and it's also Lortab, and it's different kinds of drug, different kinds of names. And so anyway, when you, I don't know what bus this is that just passed over. It said Red Raiders. It looks like a tour bus or something like that, but it might just be some sort of tourist business or something like that for the Mexicans. Nah, I'm just playing. It could be for anybody, but I'm just assuming Mexicans, because why would a tour bus be? Yeah. Anyway, so usually when a drug is more, usually how it goes is the stronger the drug is, the more punishment, the more punishment, the harsher the punishment that is given to the perpetrator. Okay, so if Dro and Reggie are not equal in their potency, seeing as though Dro is a lot stronger, then why is it that why is it that nobody's looked at that? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Dro should be outlawed or be given a harsh punishment. I'm saying that people who made these laws, they didn't even, what kind of sense does that make? Obviously, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about. If you give a kid a puff of Reggie for the first time, and let's say you don't, I know that sounds bad, right? If you give a kid a puff of it. The reason I'm saying a kid is because that's what I was when I first tried marijuana. I was a kid. Okay, so if a kid gets a hold, I should say, of a joint of regular marijuana, and a kid gets a hold of a joint of Dro marijuana, they're going to get high, like I said, as shit. How high is the sky? That's how high they're going to get. And, if you get, if it's their first time, they're going to get high no matter what. But I'm just saying, like, it's, there is a difference. And, I'm not, like I said, I'm not advocating the use of marijuana by children. All I'm saying is that I tried it at the time. But don't you think that if marijuana is dangerous, like they want to say it is, don't you think that they should have looked at the potency of the plants, of the different types of plants that they're trying to outlaw? If usually when something has a law decided on, there's a big discussion. Now, let's say this had something to do with business, or this had something to do with the bank system or something like that. Well, do you think that they're going to pass a law without first looking at it and going over it and seeing every little detail about it, so that their lawyers won't get any discrepancies and this and or whatever, the Supreme Court, this and that? I could go on about it all day, but I don't want to get lost in a bunch of unimportant facts right now. Those things are very important to know about, how the process works, but I can finish what I'm saying without getting into all those processes. So don't you think that those people who were making the law should have investigated to see if there was anything wrong with it, not anything wrong, yeah, if there was anything wrong with the laws that they had established, like, I don't know, maybe first researching the drug or whatever it is, the plant that they're trying to outlaw. Now, that to me, that sounds very irresponsible, and I think it needs to be looked at again, because if it's not important enough to look at the different types of the substances being outlawed, if there's the variations and the ways that they can be grown and how they're grown, and if this isn't looked into, then what gives them the right to make it illegal? It makes no sense. Like I said, they wouldn't do that in other circumstances. If I come up with an analogy to that, I'll give it to you. But that's what she said. But I just wanted to make that a point so that I wouldn't forget it, because, like I said, these are kind of like personal reference. But I'm pretty sure people are gonna watch this, so I'm kind of talking like I'm speaking as though I'm as though I'm like a host or something like that. I don't know. But cool. So I just wanted to get that point across. This guy over here looking crazy. A lot of crazy looking people over here. And look, the cops over there still messing with people. Matter of fact, another cop just went over there. Didn't hear shooting or anything, but for some reason he needed backup. I don't know, guys. I think, there comes a time when we need to sit down, think about things, and start putting some of our thoughts, what's the word? Like manifesting some, I don't know. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is it's time to get out there and speak up and talk about what's right, what's true, what's wrong, what's false, the difference between opinion, fact. We have to get out there and actually do something instead of being sour and bitter. I bet that wouldn't be good, right? I've never had something sour and bitter at the same time. I guess something spoiled maybe, but I wouldn't have kept it in my mouth. That's what she said, long enough to see, she said, if I wouldn't have kept it in my mouth long enough to see if it tasted sour and bitter at the same time. I'm pretty sure I just wanted to throw up. Anyway, it would make, we need to get out there and do something instead of just sitting here. I've been sitting here for a long time. I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that there's anything I can do, but I think that just speaking up, letting people know that you're not afraid to say how you feel is very important. I think that we are confused, that we are young, we're young-minded, and we're in a very, very complicated and complex universe that in order to survive in, you have to develop certain tools. And one of the most essential tools that we have developed over time is the tool of thought, or our brain. This is something that is very powerful, and it's something that needs to be studied. It needs to be studied from the inside out and from the outside in. And and then maybe we can get to the bottom of who we are, if that is even a question to answer. Goodbye. See you next time. Or maybe I won't see you, but, hopefully you'll hear me next time. Alright, later.